Oh, well, hello there, and welcome to Nerdcraft SMP, a brand new project for me, a brand new world, and I just joined in, so let me give you a heads up what this all is about while I'm just doing the regular start into Minecraft with chopping the trees and getting my first tools. Well, at least it was the plan, but after taking down the first trees, I got surprised by the setting sun, and without any means to defend myself, and also lacking a bed, I had to search for a place where I could hide during the night. And so I spent my first night on this SMP only hiding in a tunnel that has already been built by one of the other players during the last hours. At the dawn of the next day, I got surprised by Farley, who also joined for her first, very short session on the server. After chatting a bit at spawn and getting some leftover cobblestone from the tunnel entrance, it was time for me to head north and the opportunity to tell you what the series is about. So, Nerdcraft SMP is a Minecraft server with about 15 players from all over the world who enjoy building, creating small games within Minecraft, or just hanging out together. About a month ago, I was invited to also join the server. Most of the time I decline these kinds of invites, since I get the impression that this cool new project we have here likely won't last longer than 2 or 3 weeks. But this time I decided to give it a try since I had a better feeling about it. And during the server tour, a couple of days after the invitation, I could see that my feeling was right. The people were fun to hang out with, the tour was very nice, the buildings were very impressive, and I actually found out that Season 5 of Nerdcraft SMP was almost nearing its end. Because of the close end of the season, I decided to not do that much on Season 5 and start fully with the launch of Season 6. And yesterday evening, Season 6 finally launched, and now I'm making my way north to look for a good spot for my base. Why north, you may ask? Well, before the start of the season we had a vote amongst the players on which seed we want to play. The server owner, Heth, made a couple of suggestions for maps with a screenshot of each biome layout. So we do not know the seed of the world and thus also not the exact landscapes, but we know where some biomes will be. And in the north there's a quite big ocean. For this season I have a couple of ideas for themes for my base, but my favorite one would be something similar to a pile village, and for that I need a good spot on a coastline. So I'm standing right here on the side of a cliff right at the ocean side. Behind me we have a forest up on the cliffs, and we have a nice vast ocean to the north of us, and I think that's the place where I want to start building my base. And I want to build a base that is growing throughout the season, so we can start with something small and then we just expand it as the season progresses. That's the plan for now. I have a rough idea on what I want to build, and originally I was thinking about, maybe I need an ocean side where it's a little bit more flat, but actually this pretty steep cliff here, I think this might be the spot where we could start this season properly. And so I started gathering some wood at the top of the cliff while also cleaning that area, since for the time it would become my main spot for my wood production and some small fields. Down on the ocean level, I started digging into the cliff. Aside from the house above the ocean, I got the idea that I could directly connect it to a tunnel system under the mountain, which could also provide a better place for my storage. For the night, I got asked by Simi, the player that invited me to join Nerdcraft, to not sleep, so that he could set up a zombie for his iron farm. And right after it got dark, I got the first drowned as a visitor. These folks will be frequent guests here on the coastline, so I have to deal with them. After Simi got a zombie in place, I made a staircase to the top of the cliff so that I don't have to jump all the time. I plan on having a better way up here later in the season, so this will be most likely only temporary for now. I also went out to the ocean to harvest some kelp, since it is a very good fuel source, especially once the production is automated. After gathering some more wood and talking a bit with Simi over voice chat, we figured out that our spots might be quite close to each other, so I went out to visit him. A small trip over the river to my south and the big Tiger Mountain later, I immediately spotted the signs of a foreign civilization, confirming that our places are really close to each other. Also, we figured out that there is a river connecting the backside of my planned tunnel system with Simi's farming area. That gave me the idea to actually make a second exit from a tunnel system to the river, to easier connect our bases. Back at my own base, I built the first part of a wooden platform on the ocean, where I later want to connect a small personal home for myself. Since I didn't have that much wood at this point, I started making a main tunnel through the mountain connecting the ocean side to the river side. I planned on making this a 3x3 tunnel, but this early in the season I was just running on stone tools, and in turn these were running out quite fast. Instead of making myself more tools, I again headed over to Simi's place, because he started at the villager trading hall a bit to the south of his farming area. With trading sticks for emeralds and emeralds for stone pickaxes, I helped him advancing a toolsmith to the second level for the iron trade. With that and his iron farm, Simi would soon be able to trade diamond tools while I had enough picks to finish the full size of the tunnel. When I was finished with the tunnel, Simi told me that the first toolsmith is ready on maximum level, so I headed over to fetch a diamond pickaxe and a shovel. I then went exploring a bit, since Simi wanted to go to the nether and needed some help finding a lava pool to get obsidian for the portal. While looking around, I found a ruined portal with enough obsidian for Simi to finish his nether portal. After delivering the obsidian to Simi, I started digging my storage area, but in order to fill it I would need a reliable source of wood, preferable one that can be automated later. So I checked at the world map that was provided by Hath and spotted a jungle biome where I could get some bamboo. So I headed out to do some exploring. On the way to the jungle I also stumbled upon a village which was already looted aside from some hay bales, and a savanna biome with another village that was not looted, giving me a bundle and some acacia saplings. Arriving in the jungle, I fetched some bamboo, cocoa beans and jungle saplings and went back, this time taking a detour to the northern side of the way. You see, this direction there is another player, Will, who asked me if I could drop him one of the bamboo stalks if I was heading by. On the way to his base, I got surprised by the world generation. Holy shnikes, what's that? And a pillager outpost being on my way. Aside from that, I safely arrived at Will's base and traded a bunch of different saplings for some enchantment books that would be useful for me later. I was already leaving Will's base when he mentioned having some dripstone, so I headed back to fetch some. But some of his neighbors didn't really consider me welcome anymore.
There's a creeper and a skeleton.
Oh, that's a skeleton. That's 3 creepers, by the way. There were 2 more behind the tree. Yes, I think that were the creepers. After collecting the dripstone, I headed out north, since the ocean where I started my base at stretched directly to the north of Will's base. On the way to my place I stumbled upon a shipwreck that luckily had a buried treasure map. The treasure was also right around the corner, which actually gave me a heart of the sea. That could be very useful considering that I'm building at the ocean side. Arriving back at my base, I sorted out all the stuff I collected, started my manual bamboo farm on top of the cliff, and dug out a bit more of my storage area. But not for too long, since I got distracted again by something else. You see, while I was out gathering the resources, Simi did set up an ender pearl chunk loader for his iron farm, mentioning that I could also use it to get my own iron. I just need to throw in my own ender pearl, loading it while I'm online. So I headed over doing this and making some more villager trades. However, I soon discovered that the iron farm was not working properly, which had actually 2 reasons, of which I discovered one very quickly. The other one was later discovered by Simi himself, but for the moment I was just focusing on one of the problems. You see, in order for iron golems to spawn, the villagers need to have slept lately. In Simi's setup, the zombie did constantly scare away the villagers, preventing them from ever getting to bed. So I would need a small redstone contraption to break the vision of the villagers to the zombie. Since I didn't have any redstone at that point, it was time for me to head over to Will's base to get some of that. At that point there were quite a few people online, and Will actually located the end portal in the meanwhile. So we discussed and also decided to open the end and slay the Ender Dragon, just about 24 hours after Season 6 officially launched. Having my stuff gathered, I did some more preparations for the Ender Dragon, like getting a bow and arrows, and I also received Will's old iron armor. With Heth, Radio and Zenikai joining Will and myself for the Dragon Raid, we set out to free the End. I mean, we were 5 experienced players, what could possibly go wrong?
Combined powers.
Yeah.
And hopefully make it to the island, otherwise we're all stacked.
Who had stone bricks for this?
I mined through the thing, so I had to single a stone brick.
Wait a second.
Oh!
Look out!
I'm dead!
Run!
Yes! Of course I died first, quickly followed by Zenny and Heth. When the others kept distracting the dragon, I got out of the stronghold and quickly got a stone sword again to maybe help a bit during the dragon purge. However, the dragon refused to purge, and so I stood awkwardly inside of the exit portal, while Will and Radio did a perfect job with the only 2 bows left in the fight.
Oh.
Yeah!
Despite the fact that 3 of us did not have any equipment left, we decided to try our luck end busting for some elytras. We did have quite some bad luck with the end cities, so the trip took over 1.5 hours until we had 5 elytras for ourselves. The others did continue for a bit to fetch some more elytras and shulkers, but since it was quite late for me, I decided to drop out for today. The result of the end trip? All my equipment gone, me wearing a Curse of Binding iron chestplate despite also having a diamond 1 and an elytra, and 16 shulker shells. Coming back from the end trip, I quickly headed over to Will's place because I wisely stored the stuff for fixing Simi's iron farm there beforehand. So I soon would have to restock my own equipment. But hey, at least I got an elytra on day 1, despite not having any gunpowder or sugarcane, and not being able to wear it anyways if I don't die a second time. All in all, it was a pretty fun session for me, and I could not wait to finish my work on the next day to come back to the server. On the next day, I first went over to Simi's iron farm in order to fix the problem that I found. I've made sure that the villagers are able to sleep in their beds by making a simple redstone clock powering a trapdoor to hide away the zombie. After that, I made sure that I did not create any space where an iron golem could spawn outside the farm and cleaned the remaining golem in order to power up the farm again. By the way, in the meantime, Simi found out that the enderpearl chunk loader we use for the iron golem farm only makes iron golems spawn in its current chunk. And since the farm stretches over 2 chunks, we actually need 2 enderpearl loaders to load it properly. After fixing the iron farm, I quickly restocked my tools by trading in Simi's trading hall. I got a new shovel and axe and a silk touch pickaxe, all fully upgraded with unbreaking, mending and efficiency. I also obtained a second pickaxe and all the books to create a fortune pickaxe once I got enough levels to combine it together. With every leftover task from the previous day done, I started working on the first steps to build up my base. I dug a staircase downwards to create a mining access, mainly for deep slate and tuff, but of course also for the occasional diamond. I needed the tuff in order to create a floor platform for the first building over the ocean. My plan here was to prepare the space for a villager trading hall of my own. Since I can get my tools and armor from the villagers at Simi's place or Will's and Doc's village, I planned on focusing my own trading hall more on other supplies, like stonemasons for building blocks and clerics for materials like redstone. After mining tuff for a bit, I went up on top of the mountain to collect some wood. I then used the wood to further build the walkways to the future trading hall on top of the ocean. I also started setting up the platform that later will become the floor for the trading hall. So after building the base plate for the trading hall a bit, I can now inform you what it looks like if someone doesn't calculate how much material is needed. Yeah, I was short by a couple of stacks for tough, and I will fetch that soonish, but I'm also starting to have a problem with my chests over there. They are getting quite full, and that's why I want to speed up my wood production and get my chests into the main storage, and I want to build up my main storage. That one will be quite soon ready, because it can be set up quite easily and it is quite fast to set up. You just need a ton of wood, and with my trusted diamond axe I can get a lot of wood. So I'm gonna get a ton of wood from the spruce trees, and I'm gonna dig out I would say the first half of my storage. And yeah, we'll see each other in a bit when I have done the first part of my storage. After building up some of the storage, I went back to my mines fetching some more tuff. This time I also found my first diamond ore on the server. 2 veins with a total profit of 19 diamonds. I then went on to finish the platform for the trading hall, this time barely finishing it with the 9 more stacks of tuff I mined. However, I could not continue at the trading hall from this point, since I had to wait for Simi to deliver me the first villagers for the hall. Since I now had some diamonds, I could make my own diamond sword, so I headed over to Will's and Doc's village, where they have a more expanded trading hall with librarians for all kinds of gear. Here, I could fetch a looting book for my sword, as well as the usual unbreaking and mending. Testing out the sword, I did make a quick trip to the end to gather some more ender pearls, and apparently also for some unintended situational comedy. I also took some endstone and got out of the end, delivering some ender pearls to Heth. On the way home, I went diving to fetch some kelp in order to fuel my furnaces until my own kelp farm would be ready. Arriving back home and still waiting for Simi to deliver me some villagers, I looked onto what else I could do in the meantime. With the death in the end, my curse of binding iron chestplate was gone, so I could now use my elytra. However, I was still lacking gunpowder for rockets, and since I planned on selling rockets in the shopping district, I decided to prepare a creeper farm on the ocean. I went out further a bit, since this would also mark the outer edge of my base. I quickly set up a platform for the collection system on the ocean. Above that, I placed the first 4 spawning layers with a simple temporary design. I finished up with a big shade platform in the sky, putting all the spawning layers into the dark. I put the platform up there on purpose so I could add more spawning layers later, if I needed to make the farm more efficient. However, I could not test the farm properly since some issues on the server's backend caused us to log off for a server maintenance. So I went to sleep for today. On the next day, I did a small AFK test on the farm while being on work. Since there were also spiders spawning on my temporary spawn layers, I adjusted them according to a design that I found on the Nerdcraft YouTube channel. Also, to increase the rates, I increased the number of spawn layers to 10. So I have now farmed my creeper farm for a little bit over half an hour, and it's currently night, but that's okay because I just want to go down and check how much gunpowder we actually made during this half an hour, maybe. Right now it's 9 spawning platforms working, and this is quite a lot. I had 1 gunpowder beforehand, and that's like 4.5 stacks per half an hour. So we could, yeah, say that we have maybe 9 stacks per hour, which is not a lot, but I think it's enough for the time being. Especially since I can make more spawning platforms as the season progresses. So for now I think we're pretty good with 9 stacks per hour. Yeah, I think that's about it. And I now have to prepare a little bit because Simi was just online as well, but he took a really bad death, lost his elytra earlier this season. That's a little bit bad. However, I hope that he can recover it, and I hope that he can provide me with a bunch of villagers for my villager trading hall. So I'm going to build up the centerpiece of the trading hall, which is a villager breeder, and I will build that right here in the middle of the trading hall, and I want to build it up before Simi is ready to deliver the villagers. So let's see if I can catch that later. For now I'm just building it up. Would you look at this? Simi is coming through the night. Oh wow. And there we have it. A total professional drop-off. I just need to give these guys a roof. Five-star to Popo delivery. So we now have the villagers delivered. I just need to make a quick roof for them because I can't put them into the breeder right now. And the whole building around this breeder will be done most likely in the next episode, or one of the next episodes. There is so much to do right now at the start of the season that I don't really know where I want to start. But for now it's good to have the option to also use some villagers. I'm just giving them some protection here. And then we can put them into the breeder when they are adults, and then I can start using the breeder. In the meanwhile, I need to set up a farm, I need to make my storage bigger, and so on. And I also need to make a shulker farm, but I think that's about it for this episode, for the first episode of the series. So if you enjoyed it, I would love it if you left a like, and also if you subscribe to the channel if you're new. I always welcome new people here. And yeah, that's about it from my end, and see you hopefully in the next episode. Bye bye!